Hello and welcome to our August HubSpot user group. Today we are talking all things events, pre-promotion, during and post-promotion. So if you are running events within your organization and you're a HubSpot customer, this is going to be the HubSpot user group to tune into and to share with your friends to ensure that you run it most effectively. Now today we're going to show you some best practices, how we use it, how others can use it both in person and also virtual. But we've changed roles today. We've got Brie in the driver's seat in regards to being the expert, and I am the host today.
Thank you for being a host.
Thank you.
How does it feel?
It feels a lot less pressure. So obviously Brie is in charge of obviously putting together all of our hugs, but also any of those events that we put online as well. So it came up, and we've got a few questions that came up with some of our clients, is that what is the best way to run events using HubSpot? Now, HubSpot is a multi-use tool, so it can be done in a myriad of different ways. So today we're going to show you a couple of ways that we can see it best used. By all means, feel free to ask questions. There is this side, it's reversed. It might be this side.
Right-hand side of your screen.
There is a chat box. You can go through and ask questions at all. We'll answer them while we're speaking here. Now, if you're watching this post this event as well on YouTube, if you want to hit up the questions in the description, we're always happy to help out in any way, shape, or form.
Absolutely.
Any way, shape, or form?
That works.
That works.
Sure.
Awesome. As I mentioned, Brie runs a considerable amount of events for us here at Neighbourhood, so we thought we'd just jump in and use her as the expert subject matter.
Thank you.
To really sort of break it down. I think what we're going to try and go through is really look into what third-party platforms are necessary or useful as well, but not necessarily that as like the pre-promotion. What's the stuff that you kind of need to be using, and how do you use the HubSpot tools to effectively pre-market so that the attendance is there? Running it, whether it's in person or whether it's virtual, how to do that and how to use HubSpot effectively as well. And post-promotion as well, what to look for. Now we'll go into reporting and how to set up specific things, but by and large, this is kind of quite a broad sort of overview on how to do it. Yeah. Every business is going to be a little bit different in regards to how they run it, so feel free to cherry pick, I guess, the parts that are going to be most relevant for you. But again, we're always here to help out and give direction if need be as well. So.
Definitely.
Anything I missed?
No, I think that's a fantastic introduction.
Before we get going, what is our next hug?
It's going to be inbound.
Oh, we are. Yeah,
you're going to be in Boston, man.
Yes. So good call. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, that's okay.
So our next inbound is actually coming live from Boston. Now we tend to do this every single year, which is great. We are not only catching up with a lot of the product marketing managers for the individual products at HubSpot specifically, but we'll be catching up with a couple of partners and also HubSpot staff as well. So stay tuned. To be honest with you, we're still refining it, all the approvals and how we get these things locked in. But I think it's going to be a lot better. I think last year we had the guys at Modern Visual, we had Dom, and we really did break down all the new features. So I think HubSpot's kind of trying to move to that whole like big release of new features and additions in September every single year. So we will bring to you as soon as we possibly can all of the new features and updates, so you don't have to trawl through all of the pages of features and understand how they could be used. We'll bring you a more humanized version of how it can be used, but also whether it's just a nice to have or whether you can actually use it day to day.
Yeah, high impact or...
Yeah, not just putting AI onto everything, but we'll show you through the things that you can use day to day as well.
Calling out, Trav.
All right, let's get started off here.
Amazing.
So Brie, I think obviously you need Marketing Hub Pro, I believe, and above in order to use this effectively. So little caveat here. I think a lot of the things that you can utilize this with non-Marketing Pro. It's not going to be as effective. But a lot of stuff that we're talking about today is going to be around Marketing Pro.
Correct. Yeah. There's
Content Hub.
Content Hub. Yeah. So what is it now? Marketing Plus, which is the bundle. That would be like the ultimate subscription to have for marketing events with HubSpot. But it can also be done with your lower level starter Content Hub or Marketing Hub as well. You just won't get all the fun features, unfortunately. Yeah.
And if you are starting in the early stages of HubSpot or looking to grow your business with it, don't be disheartened that you don't have Marketing Pro. It's fine. Marketing Starter is still sufficient enough.
Definitely.
I'll try and call out where I can, what you'll need specifically from a product standpoint. But you can run some of this without the nice to have. So don't turn off if you don't have Marketing Pro, but we'll sort of mention throughout the way the stuff that you will be limited in for that as well. Let's get started with, I guess, like utilizing third-party integrations. So a bit of background, for this HubSpot user group, for the attendants, the Hugs use a platform called
Bevy.
Bevy, B-E-V-Y. It has its pros and cons.
Yeah, I actually have never seen it outside of our HubSpot platform. So I had to do a bit of research actually, because I was like, oh, what's this actual platform do? And the whole idea is communities and stuff like that.
Building communities.
Building communities. So you can send a bunch of emails out, you can send events, set up events, analytics, stuff like that. I would say it's more for those enterprise companies that maybe have a larger community in comparison, just maybe a business doing an event.
Correct,
So yeah, we use Bevy, which is what you're seeing now. But there are a couple of fantastic integrations that don't cost that much. They're like cost-wise actually pretty good. So a lot of them.
Can you please rattle off a couple?
Let me. Yeah. I've got them here for you. Don't you worry about it. The important thing with having these event applications is, firstly, they are made for events. So they have all the features you will need to run events. And the second thing is why it's so important that they're integrated into HubSpot is that you need that data in order to pre-promote your event, make sure people get any information during the event and also after the event as well. Not only that, but have that group of people ready to go when you run your next event as well, so you can continue to grow your community. So the main three that I've picked out, mostly because HubSpot pushes them as the best integrations with HubSpot. And when it comes to HubSpot integrations, it's always good to have those ones that are promoted by HubSpot, because you usually know they're pretty good.
Yeah.
The first one most people have heard of is Eventbrite. It's basically a event platform where you can say when it is, where it is. You can do online, offline. You can say how many tickets there are.
Issue tickets.
You can issue tickets. People can cancel their tickets as well. And all that data goes directly into HubSpot. The only downside with Eventbrite is that it won't do custom properties. So if you have a custom property on Eventbrite, so let's say it's like, what's your job title that you've created?
Allergies.
It won't pull through into HubSpot. It's just a couple of very specific properties.
I think one of the things I had worked with Eventbrite in the past was the fact that it gives you the ticket, and depending on the level of Eventbrite subscription, you can check them in using a QR code and stuff like
Correct.
that too.
Yeah.
Which is helpful in understanding like attendance and non-attendance.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I've done a couple of events where we've used Eventbrite. And say,
and you can use your phone, like your phone as like the check-in one as well. Yeah.
Exactly. Just because some people might be newer to connecting applications into HubSpot, I did want to share my screen and just kind of walk through what that looks like and where to actually find all these applications as well. Sure. Because sometimes it's easy to get lost in HubSpot. So in order to get into finding all these applications, one thing I didn't mention, Eventbrite is also free if you're not using all the pro subscriptions. So if you are just a business that maybe does an event once a month or once every 2 months, go for gold with the free stuff. The events look really nice. I definitely recommend it. But what we're going to do, we're going to go into settings. And then if you go into integrations and then connected apps, this is where you can see all your connected apps. It's also where if there's any settings, this is where you're going to do it as well. But for now, we're just going to click Visit Marketplace in the corner, because this is where we can see all the fun things that people have connected with HubSpot. So if I search Eventbrite, for example, and click this one. This is kind of the page you'll start to get used to. One really important thing when you are looking for event integrations is to scroll down to the shared data. So this is going to tell you how the data moves back and forth from one platform to another. So for example, we can see the registrants in Eventbrite move to contacts, contact lists, workflows, the timeline, and contacts as well. But you can see there's only a one-way arrow, which means that it won't go from HubSpot back into Eventbrite. So just keep that in mind when you're looking for event platforms. That's the best thing to do. Another really good app, which actually connects with Eventbrite as well, but webinars on Zoom. Zoom is free and you can run webinars on them.
What limits are there on the free account?
Yeah, so the main one with Zoom is that it is limited to 30 minutes. I feel like if you're someone who uses Zoom in your personal life and you call someone up, you get that 30-minute timer, you know it's up. So the same thing applies with the webinars as well.
Sure.
We use Zoom here. I've always had a good time with Zoom. I don't have any issues with it. So definitely I think that Eventbrite and Zoom connection with HubSpot works really well. The other thing that works well, I think they've recently this year updated the Zoom integration with HubSpot, and it is working a lot better now. If you've used that integration before, it's always been a little funky, but now, yeah, it's working a lot better. So definitely recommend connecting it with HubSpot, but then also Eventbrite and Zoom together as well.
One of the ones I have had success with in the past, and this is kind of out of left field, was a webinar platform called Livestorm. So Livestorm. Now, I haven't used it in a couple of years, but the one thing I really did like about this was the sync between HubSpot was really great.
Right.
So a sign up could push across. It would obviously tag whether they attended, but also whether they did or didn't attend as well. The one thing I really like about this as well is the fact that you can do automated webinars. So you can have reoccurring webinars.
Oh, that just kind of plays.
Onboardings. Yep. If you sign up to a SaaS platform and you've got like a trial period, you can have that so that it's like continually like Wednesday every day.
That is very cool.
People can sign up to the specific day that they want to do it, and you just have to man the chat.
Yeah.
So it does restreaming, virtual meetings, etc. That's another one that I've found that I kind of enjoyed working. I think there's a free if there's up to 30 people, up to 20 minutes a session, or there's the pro, which is kind of, I assume this is USD, $99 a month, which gives you 4 hours and up to 100 people attend, and you can scale that up or down as well. So that's another one I have used in the past.
Yeah,
too.
I'm just having a look now, and they've actually got a two-way data sync with registrants and contacts, which is very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool indeed. I think the best advice with starting events is to just start them. Even if you're on a free version and it's only a 30-minute webinar, just start doing them consistently, I think is the thing.
And learn from the mistakes, learn for feedback. I think getting feedback, I mean, probably skipping to the end here, but getting feedback at the end, like creating a HubSpot form and sending that HubSpot form out to the people and just getting feedback as well and being genuine and human about it. Because I think people, if you're trying to give it a go and you look like you're trying to give it a go, people actually appreciate that, and they'll appreciate the feedback you give them. So obviously we have connected a third party, whether it's Zoom, GoToWebinar, Livestorm, Eventbrite, whatever that sort of says. So we've connected it up. I think when we connect it up, I think there's a few different ways in which I guess the data's flowing towards the contact card to understand. But I think if you had to start again and you know what you know now, how would you structure this? How would you report on it? I think reporting on it, or just manage the attendees, and also the performance of the event too. Yeah,
I think that's a really good question. If I go back, I do remember at a previous job, we ran an event, and I remember the way I did it was just managing it all in a list, and that's it, just all the attendees. And I don't think the data really changed. It was just I had a list and that was it. And then afterwards I sent an email to that list and that was it. There was no actual substance to the data.
If you're a marketing starter, great start.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic start. It's not a bad thing. It's definitely not a bad thing. But what I think is super underrated, especially now that these integrations are getting better and better, is one, there's a marketing events area in HubSpot that feels really hidden, and I don't think many people find it quite often, but it is there, and I'll go through that. But also the campaigns tool. I feel like every time Trav and I sit down, we're like, use the campaigns tool because it is quite powerful. They've done a lot of work on it now.
Put the same love into marketing events, please, HubSpot. Please.
In order to get into the marketing events area, it's a little bit of a workaround. You're going to go to your contacts in HubSpot. You're going to click on your contacts. You're going to scroll down until you find marketing events. Now, a couple of things here. If it isn't set up already, there will be a screen saying, you have not set this up. So just click the button, go through the wizard. If you've integrated something like Eventbrite or GoToWebinar already, you won't need to go through that step. It will already be there for you. Now, one thing I do want to touch on is just how the syncing works. Specifically with Eventbrite, it's quite similar to Zoom and GoToWebinar, but I will take you through the Eventbrite side of things. So like where I was at before, I'm going to go to integrations, go into Eventbrite, and you'll see here I've got all my test events, all 4 of them are sitting in here. So when you first turn that integration on, they will all pop up here, but they won't be synced. So when you click sync, that means it's going to start pushing all the information over to HubSpot. If you want that to stop, you can turn that sync off. Now, I also have automatically sync new events ticked. That way, if I create a new event, it'll just automatically come into here. Now, the best thing about this integration is that it's automatically going to create those marketing events for you and bring in all the information you need. So if I go back to the marketing events page, you can see here we've got one of the example events, and I can already see someone's registered, and I'm pretty sure that person is B. I've registered for my own event. You can also see it's hosted on Eventbrite, and it's pulled through a bunch of information that's specifically been put on Eventbrite as well. So this area is fantastic in the sense that you can see who's registered, who's cancelled. You can click through to your Eventbrite page and have a look at it. Where it does lack is that there's not much. You can't really go anywhere from here. It's just a kind of a dashboard. Can't really see how well certain maybe connected assets are doing, or how well your pre-promotion stuff is doing as well. So that's where we start talking about the campaigns tool, the love of my life.
It's actually got a massive upgrade.
Massive upgrade.
It actually had 3 upgrades, I think, over the past 12 months, which is really great. They've redesigned it, which is great, but there's been a whole lot more functionality added to the not only the reporting, but also overall. Still, creating the trackable links is still a little bit of a hard find. What I mean by that is that you can create trackable links to be able to sort of report on, kind of like Bitly, essentially. But they're very hard to find. It's still hard to find. You've got to go.
Honestly, it may take me a little while to find it.
It's up at actions, then it's inside the campaign.
Oh, inside the campaign.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we'll have a look in a second.
We'll go in there at some point.
I'm going to create a campaign from scratch to take the.
Well, let's just do one. Have you done one, or let's create one?
I have done one. Yeah.
Create one for the HubSpot user group or something.
I do want to create one just because I want to show something pretty cool that I didn't know. So if you go to marketing and campaigns, that's where you're going to find it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Campaigns is Marketing Pro.
Yes, I think so. Yes,
Fantastic.
it is. Yeah.
Thank you. So if I click create a marketing campaign and then start from template, there's something pretty cool that's going to help you prepare for your event. So if I search the template for event, there's an in-person event promotion and online event promotion. Now, because this is an online event, we'll do the online event one. But once you click this, it's going to ask you to put in a bit of information about the event. This doesn't do much other than just tell you yourself when things start, when they end, how much budget you have. They don't actually go anywhere. So I would still just fill it out quickly. Now, once I click create, what comes up on this screen now is actually a checklist of all the different steps that it wants me to do, basically, to promote my event. And I think this is a fantastic way to be like, okay, I've done that. Oh, I don't have a form for this. I don't have an email for this. I need to do that. Do I need any social media posts that I need to do? So it really starts to get you thinking about what exactly you need to do for this campaign. Another really cool thing is you can actually add different campaign steps in. So if you have something specific that you usually do for your event campaigns, you can drag it in and then save it as a template for next time to use as well. So I didn't even know this little checklist step existed. But for someone who maybe does it even weekly and you always feel like you might forget something, fantastic little tool to work through to make sure you have everything in there. Now, the main way the campaign tools work is adding assets. So assets can be the marketing events, landing pages, emails, CTAs, forms,
ad campaigns, social posts, anything that you create for the event.
Exactly.
Inside HubSpot.
Yes.
All trackable.
All trackable.
So you can associate that thing with the campaign. And you can find that that's important because then you can start reporting on eyeballs, reach, engagement, replies, traffic, all of that stuff. And you can attribute it.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is hard because usually the marketing people are like, well, how do I show everybody the work that I've done?
Exactly.
Or the attributed revenue I have brought in.
Speaking money. I think what's super important about this, like speaking on that as well, is that a marketing manager will go up and be like, okay, here's my email dashboard. This is how well we did with the, let's say, the hug emails. And then here's my landing page and website traffic dashboard. And this is how well we did with that. And it's all quite separated. Whereas this campaigns tool kind of brings it all together. Be like, this is the overall picture. And this is how much attributed revenue I made. Ta-da, I'm amazing.
One of the great parts of this as well, and I think this is something that got brought in a little while ago, is that you can start tracking websites that are not necessarily on HubSpot too. So like if you are using Eventbrite does give you the ability to add a tracking code to an area. So just kind of like a Google Ads or Meta or anything like that. And then you're able to then also track specific engagement and traffic on that page as well. So you're not necessarily they're not trying to like box you into just having HubSpot specifically.
That was such a good addition. I was super excited about that one. Okay, so the main real bit, that's the best word I've got, of the campaigns tool is adding your assets. So you're gonna go to your assets tab, click add assets, and if you go scroll down here on the left hand side, it's all the different types, but I just want to point your eyes to the marketing events because that's where you want to add your marketing event. The reason why is you want to connect that event to the campaign and then all the other assets that are a part of that campaign as well. So I'm going to put my little marketing event on here. And then a couple of other things you may want to do are add some emails, website pages, stuff like that, but I will get into that in just a moment. I'm not going to do it just yet. So once you'll click add, what you'll see on this screen, your asset screen, is just a big list of all the connected assets. If you go into performance, it's going to tell you how many new contacts you might have gotten from this campaign, influence contacts, sorry, not content, revenue attribution as well. And if you go down here, it'll actually get into a bit more of the data behind each of your assets as well. So it's a really, really powerful tool. You can also put your budget in here, which I think is fantastic because not many reporting tools really that I've seen push you to put your budget in there, especially if it's an in-person event. You always have a budget for an in-person event, whether it's with food, tables, chairs,
or even online
things like
as well.
that.
Like online, like design assets creation. It might be paid ads. It might be something like that.
And the final thing I'll point your eyes to is that you can create tasks in here as well. So if this is quite a big event that you're working towards and you have ongoing tasks for it, you can absolutely put them in here and almost use this as a big project management system for all your campaigns, which is just Mwah, fantastic. So just to wrap up, I guess, this campaigns area, really the goal of it is to, what's the word, like congregate, like bring all your marketing efforts together into one place so you can report on it and really see the impact on
the value that you're bringing.
Thank you, that you're bringing to why this event may be important.
If you're running several like events, this will give you, like, it's really hard. It's really easy to see the effectiveness of an email. It's easy to see the effectiveness of an ad campaign. It's easy to see the effectiveness of a landing page, etc. It's hard to see a cumulative.
That's the word I was looking for.
Effectiveness of a group of things that happen. Now, if you do this religiously every single time you do an event, you'll be able to see what metrics at a granular level you need to sort of tweak with in order to be a little bit more effective with the outcome, attendance, or anything like that as well. So I think for us, you know, for what we use it for as well, like we can see that, hey, this like didn't work as well. What specifically? And I think we kind of, a bit of transparency, we looked to see that our social posts started declining in regards to the frequency that we're posting. And we just looked at the data and said, all right, we just need to like increase it by 3 or 4 times. And weirdly enough, Brie increased it by 3 or 4 times, and we had the highest attendance of a hug that we've ever seen ever in the history.
And we're like, oh.
So it does work.
That worked.
And we did granularly look at the data and be like, that's what we need to improve. And funnily enough, we improved that, and it did improve it to be our best event. So
data.
Sorry for throwing you on the bus.
I mean, I also made it the best hug it's ever been. So like, I did both, right? Data doesn't have to be complicated. You can look at data and be like, oh, I don't know where to start. If something looks low to you or doesn't feel like your best, then it probably is not your best. And there's something else you can do. Just try things. Try anything.
Move fast and break stuff. Yeah.
I love it. That. One final thing I want to say on the campaigns tool is that at the beginning we showed you that checklist. You can just skip that part and add all your assets after the fact, like whilst you're building them. You don't have to do it right then, right there, whilst you're going through the checklist. You can go into assets and really start to do all those things whenever you need to. So even if you set up your 4 events over the next 4 months straight away, but you haven't created anything, that's fine. But it's in there and it's ready to go.
Yeah. All right, so now we've got a bit of an idea of the platforms that we could be using from a third-party aspect. We've now got a bit of an idea of, I guess, once that data starts flowing in, how do we sort of bring it all into one place so that we can report on it and sort of see exactly the metrics that are working and not working, but also report back to potentially other people internally to the organisation to say, hey, this is the effectiveness. The one thing I do want to mention before we move on is that, so it does like trigger through to deals. So if you are specifically, hopefully you're using the deal pipeline. If you're, what's the word? Not associating. If you're influencing. If you're influencing, it will see. So for example, if you've got a couple of deals in the pipeline and then those people attend the event, click on stuff, go have a look at stuff, it'll start to go through and say, hey, how much influence did marketing have on the sale? And it will attribute a dollar amount based on how much it influenced it, based on how much they interacted with your marketing aspects. So you can actually start putting dollar figures as a marketer to the actual value that you're bringing to the organization from a monetary value. So when you put the budget in there and you look at the influenced revenue amount for that period, or however long it needs to be, you can say, well, I brought X amount of money to this business because of the work that I did.
And how good is that? That's so powerful.
Yeah. Just do it consistently. It's not going to be perfect the first time. Yeah. I digress. Moving on to the next part is, I guess, around the content side of things. Probably more so like the pre-promotion and getting things set up for, I guess, getting people to the event, but also reaching out to them, communicating with them, etc.
Yeah.
How do we do that to engage with those engage with the attendees?
Yeah. In order to kind of talk through this, I kind of want to talk about our hug and kind of how we figured and worked our way through. So when you're thinking about pre-promotion for an event, you're obviously going to want to send people emails. You're going to want to send them out to your contact base saying we're having an event. You're going to want social posts. You might want a landing page with a form. There's so many bits and bobs that can really come together. I think what is the most important, however, is keeping it consistent, especially if you're doing monthly events, but also changing things if something's not working.
So to the consistency point that you're mentioning, it's not only time, but it's also consistency with like content, structure,
Correct.
How things work out.
Correct.
It's easy to identify what is and isn't working if there's certain tweaks to what's happening, time, whether it's like specific positioning of content, structured or layout. If everything's different all the time, you will have no idea what to change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think when I first started marketing, it's very easy to be like, I'm going to write a creative email for this event and I need to change it up because people are going to get bored of getting these emails all the time. Whereas in comparison, maybe like 5 years later now, where I'm at now, our HubSpot update emails use the same template with some tweaking depending on the content every single month, and it goes out on the same days every single week. And people expect it to come into their inbox and they know, oh, this is the event coming up now. Okay, I missed this one. What are we talking about this month? And you will see maybe not a growth straight away, but just a slow increase of people starting to expect that from you.
Open rates.
And open rate, they get excited. They're like, oh, yep, I know exactly what this is. There's no thinking involved. It's just, I enjoy this event and I'm going to open this email and I appreciate it.
But it's also at the same time, like when I first started doing all this sort of stuff, you get a bit gouged out too because like, oh, my open rates didn't happen as well, or
For sure.
people didn't attend my events. Your events or your marketing is not necessarily always going to be hot on the topic right now, but I always put it down to a billboard on a highway. Like, if you're consistent and those billboards on a highway, it might not relate to you as you're driving down that highway, but as long as you stay consistent with that specific billboard and whether the messaging might change, there might be that one specific time you need that thing and you might turn off and go down that sort of side road. So it's just about being consistent so that when that opportunity or when that problem arises and they're really looking for someone to help them, you're there. People's problems change quite often and we always like to do a 90-day cycle of like looking at things. And so if you are consistent with what you do, your services, your products or anything like that, it might not be right now, but it might be. They haven't unsubscribed, so it's not right now. It's just a matter of when. So don't get gouged out the fact that people aren't opening or purchasing or responding. The fact that they haven't unsubscribed means they're just not a customer yet.
I love that. That's actually a really good booster.
And if they do unsubscribe, because I used to get quite upset when everyone unsubscribed.
I still get upset.
It just means that that customer isn't looking for what you offer. And you know what? That's fine. There are going to be plenty of other people, no matter what you do. So it just means that you've got more people in your ecosystem that haven't unsubscribed, that still are interested in what you do and are yet to purchase your product or service.
I mean, you hear about
it's definitely a positive spin on it.
You hear about it all the time. Some of those big like meetups that happen, and you'll be, oh, we've been doing this for 3 years, and I remember when we started with 3 people sitting up having a beer somewhere, you know, and it starts so big, and then you're at this meetup that's 50 people, and you're like, wow, okay, and it's all about that consistency. Which next brings me where I was trying to get to is how do you make this easier for yourself? So we're kind of moving a little bit into Content Hub and emails and stuff like that. Now, we talked a lot about the Content Hub in 2 hugs ago when we went through the entire Content Hub.
There's been some changes.
There has been a lot of changes, a lot of tweaks. It's getting better and better. But if you are looking to make content a little bit easier for yourself, I would definitely recommend go check out that hug. It is on YouTube. If you just search on our YouTube channel for Content Hub, you will find it. But the biggest thing with these is personalization and consistency. Make the email template the same every single time. Announce your events on socials at the same time each month. So people start getting a bit like Pavlov Pavlov's dog about it, and they're like, oh, it's time. The other thing I was going to say, with social media, I have so many things to say. With social media, we post about our hugs pretty consistently on the neighborhood account. Sometimes it doesn't get the engagement that we love, but the idea is there's getting eyeballs on it as well. The other point is Trav and I post it on our personal accounts. When you're doing a webinar or an event, it is all about that human connection. Yes, we're behind a camera right now, but we're really talking to our audience that we know quite well. So when we're sitting here, we're ready to educate and help, and we know who we're talking to. So posting from your personal LinkedIn's and socials, super important because it puts a face and personality to who is sitting here before you actually come and watch us as well. So promote it in your own personal voice. I like to use memes. Trav's is a bit more normal, I would say, in comparison to my nightmares.
I always say emails from people, like people build relationships with people in organizations and not organizations with people in them. So emails always come from a person. There's always a picture of the person. Yep. It's always from somebody as well, just to try and humanize it. You'll find that people that send emails from organizations, admin@company.com, or just sort of like just generic updates, which is fine for like transactional emails. But when you're talking at like creating marketing campaigns to get engagement, you definitely need it from a person.
The final thing I'll kind of touch on with a pre-event kind of goes into reporting a little bit, but it's to do with the data you're able to get with your integrations. So when you go into, let's say, your CRM, I kind of want to show you what that data looks like. So I'm going to find a little example contact. Okay, so I've just jumped into Jaden's contact. He signed up for our event, and what I want to show you is actually the properties that you can use with Eventbrite and make lists out of that. The reason the lists are so good is because you can directly email those people, you can personalize those emails just for those people, but you can also create retargeting ads just for your event people as well. So if you want the same people to come to your event the next time, you can retarget those people straight away and be like, hey, there's a new thing coming up, come along, which is just super helpful, honestly. So if I just search events, we can start to see a couple of the integrations. So it's brought through the name of the event, first names, last names. It'll also tell you the status, whether they've cancelled. If they attend via the webinar, it will say, okay, they've attended or they didn't attend. So there's so much information that you can start using to filter down your lists and really segment those people to get the right people next time. So, I mean, in a year's time, just imagine the amount of data you'll have in order to be able to market it to your next round of people or your next year of events, let's say.
So I think we've spoken a lot around pre-promotion, getting that stuff, data, integrations, etc. I kind of wanted to move into during the event and post-event as well. So you've obviously got everything integrated. You've got your assets, your tracking, your data. You've got that. How do we use this effective to track during and post an event as well?
Yep.
And maybe what are some best practices that we can work on that one?
Yeah, beautiful. So I think during the event, there's, depending on the platform you're using, there's a couple of things to just ensure that firstly, that data is coming through. Eventbrite, forgot the level, but you can check them in using your phone. You can search for their name, thing like that. You can go old school and you can just have a sheet of paper and it's like, can you find your name and tick yourself off, please? Thank you so much. And then
you could have a list with a property attended, yes or no.
Yep. HubSpot, yes or no attending. So that's already in there. That's that's a fantastic idea, actually.
Straight from the top of my dome.
So smart. Yeah. You're so smart.
Thank
my
you,
God.
Thank you.
So that's the data side of things. But during the event, people, like I said before, want to make sure that you're a real person with real knowledge. Yeah. You're building that trust really at the end of the day, especially if you're kind of new on the scene when it comes to digital marketing events or developer events, or there's so many out there. But the main thing is building that trust. So go talk to people afterwards. If it's an online event, go follow certain people on LinkedIn afterwards. I have met so many people through these hugs just because I went and added them on LinkedIn afterwards as well. And I've learned so much from them. So make sure you make those connections. It's not just about me talking to you or Trav talking to you. It's about making those connections and networking and all those fun buzzwords as well.
Yeah.
Another really good thing, post-event, if it's an online event like this, don't gatekeep your content. Go put it up on YouTube. You will get so many more eyes that way. You'll get people excited for the next event. We've had multiple people come to us and be like, oh yeah, I saw this one online, so I came to your next one, for example. It's a really good way to just get that conversation going. If you're going to, maybe just put it behind a form. If you are a bit wet, if you want to collect data from it or gatekeep it, but generally just put it out there because the more eyes, the better. The more likely you're going to get someone to pop in. Thank you emails are always super important as well. You want people to know that you appreciate them spending their time with you.
Also, use that post recording if you are recording in person or whether it's online. Try to think about how it can be used in the sales process too. So we utilize maybe some of the topics we're talking about. If we're talking to somebody specifically in a sales process that relates to their problem that they've come to us to try and solve, reporting is probably the biggest hug that I use to be able, because reporting is just a really sort of big beast in its own. Is that, hey, it's great speaking with you. We actually did a hug that went for a whole about an hour. If you just wanted to check it out just to get a better idea. And then, because a more informed prospect is a better prospect to understand where you're coming from your solution standpoint as well. So the friction's going to be a lot less. So it's not only a marketing asset, it's also a sales enablement tool as well to be used.
That is such a good point. I think finally with the reporting side of things and data side, we kind of touched on this before, but if you're doing post-event and you've sent your emails out and you're looking at your data and you notice that 5 people showed up to your webinar and you're like, oh, well, was that even worth it? That's 5 people. If it was an hour long, that is 5 people who stuck through the entire hour, let's say, and watched you and wanted to hear what you have to say. So more than likely, there's another 5 people out there who want to watch it as well. So don't discredit yourself with the numbers. It can be a little bit disheartening sometimes, but even if one person stays for an entire hour, happiest person on earth, honestly, because I got to help that one person.
And also, I think as well, you're creating content.
Yeah.
So, it might not be valuable to somebody right there and then, but it can be helpful in perpetuity.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't think, like that reporting hug, I don't think it actually had many in-person viewers because it was so dense and quite a big topic.
Yeah.
But it's one of our better videos on YouTube because people have the time to go watch it. So it can be pulled apart and put elsewhere.
Yeah. All right. So just to wrap up, we covered, third-party platforms that we could utilize to connect into HubSpot to help utilize the execution of the event. We've got the data, how to manage the data inside it as well. So if you're using Marketing Pro, to be able to sort of utilize the assets there, Marketing Pro Plus,
Content Marketing
Hub,
Plus,
Marketing Plus. To be able to utilize that as well. The Campaigns tool, I think we covered too.
Campaigns tool, yes.
We also stepped into, the pre-promotion of the event, how to use that during the event, and touching a little bit on post the event as well. We spoke about, a bunch of different things that kind of relate to the effectiveness on reporting back to people internally, but also the effectiveness from an influence deal standpoint if you are using Sales Pro as well. One thing I kind of wanted to close on, mind you, if you have got any questions, make sure you throw them in the description, chat bot, anywhere there's a box on the screen. We haven't really planned for this, but knowing what you know now from 5 years ago, what would be someone that you would give advice that's just starting on now? Like just starting out to run events using HubSpot. What would be the biggest piece of advice?
The first one is just do it. If you're doing a webinar and you have a lame little webcam on your computer, use that. Just start creating content.
Check out our first videos on YouTube.
No, don't do that. Yeah. The other thing is start tracking your data as soon as possible. I think if I remember some of the events from 5 years ago, we just didn't, because it was so stressful, the event, we just forgot about the data, and then we never actually knew how well we did. So take your data really seriously, because in a year's time, you'll probably want to know that change in, what happened and how well you did, or maybe how well you didn't do. And finally, I struggle with this, but be yourself. I get on camera and I switch on something sometimes, and I feel like I have to be, all professional and like, oh yes, I am the smartest person on this earth. But the fact is, I don't know everything. Me and Trav are just people sitting here on a couch, figuring it out, talking about things. So try be yourself on camera, because it comes through when you do that as well.
I think the big part to that is I think everyone reverts to being the monotoned, what am I trying to say here?
Like your customer service self?
Yeah, and it's sort of to a point where you just feel like you're watching a script or something, or like a monotone. So I think one advice is that just be aware of how you're communicating, and just be aware, like I always pretend that there's like 5 to 10 people watching me as I speak.
Yeah, we do have one person.
We do have one person. But like if there's 5 or 10 people behind you, how would you act differently if you're just talking into a camera or just into your laptop as well? So the be human part, I think, is the big part. Is like just be yourself, because even if you're wearing a suit, you're wearing shorts or whatever it is, like everyone's just either trying to solve the problem and you're trying to help them solve that problem. So just be normal. You don't have to, people aren't going to be impressed by the suit that you wear, or, the number of letters after your name and whatnot. They're going to come to you because they're looking for value, and that value is just going to come to you being yourself. And if you're being yourself, you're probably a little bit better. It's probably better to digest that information as well. But be aware, like I'm pretending I'm talking to somebody right now, and there is people listening.
It is awkward.
It is awkward,
especially that first time.
Yeah,
oh my
100%.
goodness, it's so awkward.
Yeah.
But once you start doing it, just you get.
You don't give too much of a damn anymore. Like the less you care, the better it kind of works out.
Exactly. Yeah. If you watch our January AI hug compared to this one, I'm telling you right now, there is a big difference to how we act on camera.
Sure.
That's my biggest thing. Be yourself.
Yeah, awesome. We're going to wrap it up there because I think we're sort of nearing on the hour. Thanks, Brie, for running through that.
Thank
if
you.
anyone has any questions around what we spoke about today, hopefully there are a bunch of questions. Make sure you throw it in the chatbot, or it's going to be on YouTube. We'll send you out an email, and then you can go through and rewatch that and share it with whoever you need to. A reminder that our next hug is going to be not from here. It's going to be from Boston as well. So we'll send some more information out prior to that as well, with all the updates, etc. But thanks, Brie, again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you. We'll see you on the other side of the planet in a couple of weeks.
Bye, guys.
See you later. Bye.